All right, thank you for joining me as we continue our study in the life of Jesus from a Jewish point of view. We're in Matthew chapter 2, which reads, "When Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem." So Jesus was born in the days of King Herod, and we know from history that Herod died in the year 4 BC. So the person who originally did the calendar for dating the birth of Jesus was off by a few years. Jesus was actually born anywhere from 6 to 7 BC. And Luke chapter 2 tells us that the angels announced to the shepherds, and shepherds were there at the birth of Jesus. Very significant because the sheep they were raising in Bethlehem would have been used for the Passover sacrifice in Jerusalem, and very fitting because Jesus would be the Passover lamb sacrificed in Jerusalem when he died on the cross. And then the scripture tells us that wise men came from the east following the star, and they arrived a little later at the birth of Jesus. But how would they know to follow this star? And what was this star? Well, first of all, the star was not a star that we see in the sky at night, because what they were following, this star, could move from east to west, north to south. It could stop, it could disappear and reappear. So actually the star that the wise men were following were what we call the Shekinah glory of God. Remember when God brought Israel out of Egypt, and they followed a pillar of a cloud by day and then a pillar of fire by night. This was also a manifestation of the Shekinah glory of God. And so that's what the wise men were following, were the Shekinah glory of God. And how they would know about it was a prophecy in Numbers chapter 24, verse 17, which says, "A star will rise from Jacob, a scepter will emerge from Israel." Now remember when the Jewish people were taken into captivity to Babylon in 586 BC. And while in Babylon, King Nebuchadnezzar has a dream of this great statue, and he doesn't know the meaning. And Daniel, a Jewish man from Israel, one of the captives, was able to explain the dream to King Nebuchadnezzar. And what does Nebuchadnezzar do? He makes Daniel the head over all of the wise men of Egypt. And so Daniel would have been teaching and taught the wise men. That's how they would have known to follow the star. No doubt many of these wise men, which would have become believers in Yahweh, the true God of Israel. And also very significant that Jesus is born in the city of Bethlehem. Bethlehem from two Hebrew words, Beit Lechem, the house of bread. And isn't it fitting that Jesus said he is the bread of life, and he is born in the house of bread?